So when people out there say, oh, it's all lost, doesn't matter anyway, we're not going to vote. I'm not saying this to shine your ass. I'm saying this so that you can have a realistic assessment of where we are. And by the way, things could change. Things could shift. But to act as though this is a guaranteed lost election, I mean, it defies reason. Let's go to the swing states here and some updates. It's pretty interesting to not just look at the recent polls, but to look contextually at where these polls were this time in the last election cycle and what the end result was. Because if you look at that, the news gets even better. But for those of you who don't know, if you've been living, why do people say under a rock? When you have something else like,
idea.
I don't know, living in women's Ivy League hockey.
There you
that
go.
way. Same thing. Yeah. You may not know that there's an election underway and the margins are closed.
Simply put, this race hasn't moved. It has been continuously very, very tight. And one way you can get an understanding of that is I want to take you through history, all right? Campaigns where any candidate held a lead of at least 5 or more points in the polls. We're going to go all the way back since 1964.
What?
Jeez. Most campaigns, at least one candidate
1964?
At least 3 weeks. In fact, all 15 of them from 1964 to 2020. If you look this year, there have been 0 days, count them 0 days, where either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump has been ahead by at least 5 points.
He dressed like a rotten banana.
Also, rewind that. First, it was like 1964. We will go back 48 fortnights, and then look.
64.
He underlines. He says there have been 0 days, but he underlines 2024. Rewind. It's a completely irrelevant underline.
Through history, all right? Campaigns where any candidate held a lead of at least 5 or more points in the polls. We're going to go all the way back since 1964.
Okay, it's on the screen.
Most campaigns, at least one candidate has led by 5 points or more at least 3 weeks. In fact, all 15 of them from 1964 to 2020.
What's that? A half
if
parentheses?
You look this year, there have been 0 days.
There have been 0 days
where either Kamala Harris
and he underlines 2024. What is he doing?
5 points in the poll.
There have been 0 days. 2024. Let me give you a green highlighter. Yeah. Why?
Did you notice it took a second too? Because the graphics guy was like, "Oh shit, wrong spot. What is he doing?"
It's a touch screen. It's a touch screen, and he wanted it there. Now he has to use it to justify the expense.
It makes 0 sense.
Come on, Gerald. Don't ruin my fantasy.
So, of course, it comes down to a few key states right now. Let's look at some of these swing states. So Arizona, that's a big one, right? Let's look at the RCP average right now. Donald Trump is leading by 1.4. Now, that's well within the margin of error, to be clear. At this point in time in 2020, Biden was leading by 2.7%. Okay? So Biden was leading by 2.7. So that's, that's a 3-point or so swing. Keep in mind.
4.
Well, yeah, close.
You're not a math Asian. I get it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, because I'm going up in the... and I was looking at the next number. Biden won by 0.3%.
Jeez.
So in other words, when Biden was up close to 3% in the polls, he won by 0.3, and now Trump is up by 1.4. That context does matter. In most of these states, there are some exceptions. You've seen Donald Trump overperform polling. But here's something interesting here, and Lane the Brain helped point this out. Here's a key trend in Arizona. And we had to double check this because it almost defies belief.
Yeah.
And we'll make the references, of course, they're always available to you, link in the description or louderwithcrowder.com every day. So you can tell us if you think we've gotten anything wrong.
Yeah.
Is that in Arizona, the Latino male vote is startling. So Arizona, Latino men, Hispanic men, aged 18 to 34, Trump is winning them by 12%. He's up 12.
That's a lot.
Jeez.
Now, it's even more when you understand that in 2020, that 18 to 34, call them young Hispanic men, Biden won them by 21%.
Wow.
Biden won them by 21, and now Trump is up by 12. Then you go to the number overall, it gets worse. All Hispanic or Latino men, or sorry, the next demographic, 35 to 49. Biden was up by 21 in 2020 with Hispanic men over age 35. Yeah. Trump is up by 20.
Wow. Oh my.
That's a 40-point difference.
Yeah, that's a huge swing. Don't look at it as like, oh, he's winning. It's like he not only is winning, he's taking back losses from the past.
Yeah.
He was massively losing. Now he's plus 20 in that group. That's insane.
And the craziest thing is the guy, Donald Trump, is winning Hispanic voters in places like Arizona, largely campaigning on a wall.
Yeah, please tell me there's a white or a black guy at CNN who's going to tell these Hispanics what they need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Maybe we were wrong on the whole wall thing. Maybe we need, if they're going to be plus 20 for Trump, it's like, maybe
path to citizenship right this way. We may say you're a dreamer. I guess you said
there. Would you like to vote? Here you go. Just kidding, of course.
Sure, you can have a ballot. You know what? Take 2.
Dos.
Let's go. Yes. Thank you, Padre. Let's go.
De nada.
Let's go to
De nada, mijo.
Nevada. Now, Nevada, a lot of people are just sort of saying, it's clear that Harris will win Nevada. I don't know.
That's not true.
So she's up the average right now by 1.1%, well within the margin of error. At this point in that election, in 2020, Biden was up by 6%, but he only won it by about 2.4. So we're well within the margin of error.
Yeah.
Biden was well beyond the margin of error, and he barely won it. If there's at all, put it this way, if these polls have not corrected, as they've said that they have, for the secret Trump voter, it could be a giant red wave of a map. I'm not saying it will be, but I'm saying this is going to be a referendum on what we've known to be polling. If they have not actually accounted for the secret Trump voter, this could be the most embarrassing moment for pollsters in modern American history. Another key trend, while we're talking about Nevada, let's look at Latino men again. So maybe Arizona exists in a vacuum.
Right.
Nope. Trump, with Nevada Latino men, 18 of 49, he's up by 13%. He's winning them by 13. Now, unlike Arizona, he did win them by 3%. So basically a split. In 2020. He's up by 13%. He may win Nevada. Thank you, Mexicans.
And that's a bigger. So that's,
Do they have any other songs?
Well,
I don't think so.
No,
they do.
Cucaracha.
There's another one.
A lot of them sound like that.
It's Feliz Navidad.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
I do love that one, though. It's a lot of fun.
It is a good one. Michael Bublé does an amazing job.
Yeah, well,
A white
that's
guy doing a Spanish song is always my favorite.
it's appropriation.
Yeah, it is.
I like the little neon sign, the Christmas Santa Claus
Yeah.
that sings Feliz Navidad and his mustache moves.
I don't know that one.
I have a good laugh.
Okay.
You can find it on some houses around here. What were we about to say,
I was
Gerald?
about to say, so a couple of things. This is a broader group. The last time we split the age group up between 18
Yeah.
and 49, right? So this is a broader group, and he's still winning by a big number, more than he did last time. But also these polls, if you look at the RCP averages, a lot of the more recent polls have Trump up.
Yes.
In these cases. Even if Kamala Harris maybe has a 1.1 lead overall, the latest poll a lot of times has Trump maybe up +1. Still within the margin of error, but you're starting to see a trend go a different direction for Donald Trump in these polls.
Right. Well, no. Sorry. I missed the cough button. Let's go to Georgia.
You didn't even
Georgia.
try.
Valiant effort.
You didn't even try.
You didn't even try. Reach out and touch my cough button. What was the name of the song?
That's weird. I don't know. I've just heard
Personal
you quote it.
Jesus? Is that what you're talking
No, I'm talking about Hook.
Oh.
Reach out and touch my hand, boy.
Rufio?
No.
No.
Little boy from What About Bob? He didn't even try.
Tyler.
He didn't even try. All right. You're afraid you're going to be sucked out.
Brendan.
Ew.
You're just making up words.
Caleb.
Now you're just saying names. You stop saying names. Georgia. And by the way, if you listen closely, you can hear that's the sound of Stacey Abrams still not accepting the election
Yeah,
results.
that's right. She was
in
cheated.
Georgia.
Cheated.
The RCP average has Trump up by 1.5%. Okay. So that's well within the margin of error. 2020, they were tied. Right, Biden and Trump at this point. Now, Biden won by 0.3% in Georgia. And that's assuming that no pipe burst. Let's just assume that everything was on the up and up and there was nothing there that could be considered underhanded. So in Georgia, actually, the polls were pretty close, pretty accurate, and it's within the margin of error. The more recent polls have Trump up consistently. And if you look at the betting odds are very strong for him winning in Arizona. Here's another key trend, though, in Georgia that we're seeing. This is surprising to a lot of people. Young voters. Right, young voters. Trump lost them by 13 points in 2020.
Approximately.
He's winning them by 5.
Oh, wow.
We're giving you an estimate because exit polling isn't
it's hard
exactly
to
the
kinda
same.
combine, yeah.
So call it anywhere. He lost them by 10 to 15 points in 2020. He's winning them by 5. Young voters, meaning Gen Z voters, older Gen Z voters who can vote, young millennials, right? I've been telling you guys this for a while. You may be surprised to find that there's a segment of Gen Z that is the most conservative at this point in time, meaning at this point in their lifespan than any generation. Baby boomers were far more liberal. Generation X was far more liberal. Millennials were far more liberal because they've been steeped in it. I know you see everything on TikTok and you see those trends, but young or old enough to vote Gen Z males are far more conservative than their parents were at that point in time. So again, don't just believe the pessimism that's out there. Are they going to naturally be more? Well, yes, young people are stupid. They don't have a dog in the fight. So the fact that Donald Trump is winning them at all or even close to a tie, that's huge.
But I thought Kamala was brat.
Yeah, but these kids are being over-lefted.
Sure, I know what that means either.
They're trying to unburden themselves from the leftism. It's all around them. Everywhere they go, dude. That's their adult life started with, especially dudes. Their adult life started with, you suck, you're the problem, why won't you marry me?
Well, yes. And it also
I want to fuck other people. Can you marry me, please?
Yes,
Wait,
exactly.
that's not how it's supposed to work.
Right.
This is also, let's add to that mix. Let's picture you're Gen Z of voting age. Okay. So you're in high school. Let's just say, put yourself in these shoes right now. You're a liberal, about to go out into the world, Gen Z, right? Picture it in your mind's eye. Okay. You're 16. All right. School is shut down. Okay.
Yes.
Who's been advocating that school remain shut down? All right. Donald Trump wants to open back up. Nope. Democrat. Okay. You missed graduation. You're learning from home. Oh, wait. Your degree's not worth anything anymore, and we have record high inflation. Don't worry. The Democrats are going to pay your student loan. Turns out they can't really do that. You start paying attention. You go, wait a second. My life has been irreparably damaged. During those years, it's one thing if you're 35, from 35 to 37. It's a whole different ballgame when you're 16 to 18 or 18 to 20 entering the workforce. And where you are so malleable, these formative years for you in the workplace or in higher education it couldn't be possible. They cannot equip you for the real world because it was a fantasy world, effectively. It was a nightmare world because of COVID and because of the policy. And young people are smart enough. They're smart enough to understand the reason for that. I think that's a huge reason why you're seeing that older Gen Z, kind of old enough to vote, veering to the right. And you know what? Hey, it sucks because it was the worst time in our country's history that I can remember.
Yeah.
But sometimes, that's unfortunately what's required for people to wake up.
Well, they kind of broke the stranglehold of media. Right. So young people now have a lot more options to go and find out what's really going on. They can do their own homework. They don't have to just buy what's being.
They don't have cable. They're not watching ABC. They're not watching NBC, Fox, CNN.
No.
That's a good point. For example, when CNN completely doctored Joe Rogan, right, and made him look yellow on ivermectin. CNN knows that to 50 and up, they actually get to define Joe Rogan. They actually get to. In other words, people will believe of Joe Rogan what CNN tells them. People below the age of 30, below the age of 25, CNN doesn't get to define Joe Rogan. They go straight to Joe Rogan and go, okay, you're lying.
Right.
You're lying. That's why they want to be played in airports, doctors' offices, hotel lobbies. They're not actually being played in homes and certainly not live on people's smart devices.
No.
And there's a lot of bad that comes with that too because people have a short attention span, but they don't get to define who someone is to a younger generation because they're more likely to get it from the original source themselves. That's a huge difference.
Also, they've watched it. They've seen it.
Right.
People they know, people that are relevant, people that they're like. This is a great example because Joe Rogan has had everyone on his show.
Right.
So it's like they've seen multiple clips throughout their the short adult life, and then somebody who has never watched Joe Rogan's like, oh, look, he has jaundice. You're like,
Yeah.
I think of that. You'll have some kid who doesn't even like, let's say a young liberal, right? And they have a dad who watches CNN at the dinner table. He's going, did you hear that Joe Rogan is taking horse medicine and he looks like he has jaundice? And the kid's like, I don't even like it. He's not taking horse medicine, Dad. He's taking ivermectin. It's the most commonly prescribed antiviral on earth, probably. And he doesn't have jaundice. I see him every day. He doesn't have jaundice. That's the conversation that would take place, and you're going to turn that kid into a rebel. What's he rebelling against? The people who watch CNN, the establishment. So there's a lot to be said for that. Let's go to North Carolina. The RCP average has Trump up by 0.6%. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot. And North Carolina was not really seen as a swing state, but a lot of you may be forgetting that in 2020, Biden was up at this point in time by 1.8%. Call it 2%. What were the results? Trump won North Carolina by 1.3. 1.3. So again, Donald Trump significantly overperformed the polling in 2020, and now he's well within the margin of error, but he's up, and the most recent polls have him up. Let's look at a key trend, too, in North Carolina, and this is something important because it's something that you can help with, okay? In Avery,
maybe we're looking at the legalities of it when you get to it.
Well, I'm saying if you're part of a group in North Carolina, something that you can help with, and we may actually be able to partner up with some groups and help with this. Like in Avery County, 14 of the 19 polling stations are completely unusable, of course, because of the natural disaster. I'm not saying that it's Democrat space lasers.
Of course.
They don't have those. It's
but this does disproportionately affect one group because Avery County was a Trump by a margin of 50 points.
Trump plus 50.
Trump plus 50. Okay, in every county, and 14 out of 19 polling stations there are not actually usable at all. So the North Carolina State Board of Electors actually just approved new rules, right? Some changes because of Hurricane Helene. That's where it would be appropriate, not just mass mail-in voting. Period. Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania violating your state constitution, but okay, a rule change because people aren't actually able to get to these polling stations or they're not working to vote. So outreach groups now can actually help people in shelters fill out ballots, and we're looking in to see if we can have some people help out there. If we can't, please look into the groups in your area who you can partner up with, because that could quite literally affect the state. When you're talking about a natural disaster like this, you could have voter turnout be wildly different from the historical trends, and you could have a huge impact on that if you're in North Carolina. And also, it's no small thing that North Carolina residents right now are saying that the government is nowhere to be found.
I can say that a lot of people who are in these very isolated communities say that they haven't seen government efforts. But again, that's just what they're seeing in these very small towns that only locals really know how to navigate.
So we'll keep you updated on that with more as we kind of get to the bottom of it. I have to go now to Michigan, my kind of home state, to my everlasting shame. Mm-hmm. And also, Michigan is a weird one. Look, I've been very straightforward, okay? Mm-hmm. I do not think the election was the most free and fair election of our time. Right?
Because it wasn't.
Just to be clear. And I think that Michigan is the worst example. And I think that there was so much nefarious activity going on in Michigan with that 100,000 plus vote dump almost entirely for Biden in the middle of the night. They made that margin so wide that they were hoping no one would question. Like, well, come on, what, you gotta think you're going to cheat to the tune of 160,000 votes? Yes, absolutely. In Michigan, I know the state. I know the state legislature. 100% I believe it could happen because I have zero faith. Zero faith in Michigan state government. Michiganders, you let me know if it's that's not to crap on the state, the people of the state, but yes, the state government of Michigan is awful. And for proof, see Detroit. Always a far left mayor from 1961 to today. It would be the left's utopia, and it's gradually spread its cancerous politics across the state.
Urban farming, Stephen.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Detroit, the pewter city.
Yes.
1961.
1900, you're right, and 61.
Detroit, it's grayscale in real life. So the RCP average right now has Harris up by 0.5%. Okay, she's up. Again, it's in the margin of error. Biden was up in 2020 by 6.7% at this moment in time, and he only ended up winning by 2.8. So again, keep that in mind. Now, Michigan was the biggest surprise to me in 2016. Right? Donald Trump was not winning Michigan according to the polls. They had Biden up by 6.7. He wasn't even close in the final vote. And Hillary Clinton was nowhere close in her final vote.
Right.
It surprised me. But at this point, it actually seems well within the realm of possibility. Again, the trend that you are seeing is that the numbers are significantly better now than they were in 2020, and the Democrats have consistently underperformed on a national scale. Local elections are different than their polling in the final result. And a key trend in Michigan, this is interesting to me, and I don't know if it's just because of population loss or because of the high murder rate, but the Democrat percentage or I self-identified Democrats in Michigan, it's been going down consistently. So in 2008 with Obama, 16.4 is the lead that they had. Then in 2012 with Obama, Democrats had a lead of 9.5. Then Clinton had a lead of 7.3, and Clinton didn't win the state. Now, I don't necessarily know why that's the case. Again, you're seeing population decline in Detroit, and you're seeing it increase in Western Michigan. Unfortunately, Western Michigan is becoming more and more liberal. So these numbers don't fully make sense on their face to me, but I do know that those are the numbers we're seeing. Also, and we'll get to Wisconsin, here's the Teamsters president kind of talking about Democrats screwing unions, which have a very strong stranglehold on Michigan. Now, this is not to say that I now trust the Teamsters union, because you can hear him be a selfish prick, but at least he's, the enemy of my enemy, however it goes.
They have fucked us over for the last 40 years, and for once, and not all of them, but for once, we're standing up as a union, probably the only one right now, saying, what the fuck have you done for us?
Yeah.
And I'm getting attacked from the left, and we've given, since I've been in office 2.5 years, we've given the Democratic machine $15.7 million. We've given Republicans about 340,000, truth be told. So it's like, people say the Democratic Party is the party of the working people. They're bought and paid for by big tech.
So are you.
Those big tech companies.
Yeah, tech is the new fossil fuel, man.
Right?
That's what I say.
Right, and you've got the Republicans who are now saying, hey, we want to be the working class party, right? And okay, you've got a great opportunity right now to do that. And the Democrats, if 60% of our members aren't supporting you, the system's broken.
Now, I'm glad to see them crapping on the Democrat Party.
Yes.
But what he really means is you have an opportunity to do that, right? Okay, so if a Republican says, yeah, but people shouldn't have to join a union if they want to work in your state and they haven't agreed upon, all right, done. You're gonna find yourself in a river with concrete shoes. So it is entirely,
For sure.
selfishly motivated. Yeah, we want you to force people to buy our crap that nobody wants to buy. Well, no, that's not how it works either. But the left, certainly, he does make a point. The left has been largely supported by big unions. Now they are supported by big tech, and big tech has more money.
What have you done for us? What have you done for us? Go to your job, go to work.
Hey, look, thank a union
paid?
for your 5-day work week. Well, I work weekends. Yeah, well, you're a pussy.
You must not be in a union.
Must not be in a union making benefits, even when you have like three retirees per worker. Math's not a strong suit, bitch. Sorry, they're just mad that they're no longer the belle of the ball. That's what it is. Unions were the biggest donors to Democrats, and now big tech has kind of replaced them.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like some jealousy there. It
Yeah.
sounded like, the new girlfriend is way hotter and younger, and I think it's not fair.
Yeah, all right, okay. You go down to your Auntie Anne's pretzels with your Bill Gates and your Bezos. I never loved you anyway, bitch.
Oh, go ahead and eat dinner at your Gumar's house.
Yeah, you and your Zuckerbergs
insane.
and your Jack Dorseys. You probably take it up the aim. All right.
Okay. Well, that just evolved.
Because they're still homophobic. They're Democrat, but they're still homophobic.
Yeah.
So let's go to Wisconsin here. And this is what I've said. I actually think that Wisconsin is more likely for Donald Trump to win than Michigan. Let me tell you why. Because I know a lot of people in Wisconsin. And I know a lot of people in Michigan. Harris is only up by 0.8% right now in the RCP average. Biden was up by 5.5. Biden only ended up winning by 0.7%. So again, this is well within the possibility. I'm not going to say plausible. I'll give these things a coin toss. They
really are.
Wisconsin, Michigan, coin toss.
If you look at the most recent polling for Biden when he was, getting closer to Election Day in 2020, he didn't trail in any of those polls.
No.
Right? On the RCP average. If you look at the polling right now, go to the one with 2024 right now, Donald Trump's basically splitting those, right? You've got Trump, Harris, Trump, Harris, Trump, Harris. Like, it's going back and forth by one or two. Like, that's a much different look than what you saw before. So you're right. Maybe, I didn't think Wisconsin, but maybe Wisconsin could be the easier target of the two, Michigan and Wisconsin.
Here's a key trend, by the way, in Wisconsin. We brought to you, in Nevada, Arizona,
big
Latino
trend.
voters. Big trend is that 41 of the 50 drunkest counties
In the
are
United States.
Wisconsin.
Now, I'll tell you one more thing. On top of that, we drilled down the top 11 drunkest counties in the United States are all in Wisconsin.
Are all
top
You own
11.
the top 11.
They were like, top 10. Hey, we got 11 too.
Yeah,
Come on,
we got
get
11.
in there.
Don't forget, we kind of gave them a bye on 12, but we still got 13, 14, or 15.
Don't forget Eau Claire over there. Okay?
I used to think it was just a stereotype, dude. My first time in Wisconsin, I was doing comedy. Uber driver picks me up late at night. It's like midnight. I'm like, let's go to drop me off at a bar before I go to my hotel. He goes, perfect. We end up sparking up a conversation. Comes in the bar, starts drinking with me.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened. I think he went back to work.
The only Uber Black with a breathalyzer.
That's right. As an official resident of Chippewa Falls, I can attest that this is true.
Sorry, this is a new.
Right, remember?
They only put this in Uber Comfort or higher.
They are fun though. They're fun, and it's criminal because the beers are like 50 cents.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like a baller.
Well, you don't have to pay shipping. They're all brewed in our own backyard.
That's right.
Why we gotta go? What do you think? We're gonna go down to some fancy pants Germany or some light in the loafers, Fruity Pebbles Belgium?
Well, at least they know who they are, they have a baseball team. They named it the Brewers. That's the most accurate name in sports since the Auschwitz Ashes. Yeah. They're on fire. I'm sorry, everybody.
And Josh has no more dates.
Hitler bad.
Hitler bad.
Hitler bad. Josh's joke's also bad.
Man, I don't even have it. Oh.
You don't have Hitler bad?
Well, we have it, but it's
Where is it?
hidden,
That's our safety.
That's like, just
I was kind of counting on you there.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, monitor yourself now.
No time like the present, tool man.
I haven't used it in a while. It's been a while. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, it's because you're Hitler. So
Also Hitler bad.
Hitler bad. Hitler terrorist.
No, you
Terrible, bad guy.
You, but
Now
not
I
Josh.
found it,
Okay, fine.
Bad guy.
All right, let's go to Pennsylvania. Trump is up 2 in the RCP average right now.
0.2.
He's up by 0.2.
Yeah, it is 0.2. That's a misprint. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. He's up by 0.2. That's
Latest poll, he's up 2.
Yeah, latest poll he's up 2. He's up by 0.2 in the average. All right. And the more recent polls are more favorable to Trump, but of course you take that spread of the average. All right. Here's something that I had forgotten. At this point in time, Biden was up in Pennsylvania by 7.1.
Wow.
7.1, which would be that would be a walk-off. That would be non-swing state levels at that point if people expect you to consistently win by 7 points. And he's from Scranton when he wants to be. The final results, though.
Electric City.
Yeah, he only won by 1.2. He only won by 1.2. And I remember thinking that Pennsylvania was one where the numbers were plumped up because of those states, they sort of, before 2016, people didn't think of any of these Rust Belt states as swing states, but the closest one left was Pennsylvania. Yeah. In other words, no one thought of Michigan or Wisconsin really as swing states, but Pennsylvania, they were saying, is kind of going to Democrats, how Ohio went to Trump, but maybe it's in play. So I remember the last election going, how was Biden up 7 points in Pennsylvania when Hillary Clinton lost it? It was an outlier. And then it turns out, no, it was just like all of the other states. He barely won them.
Yeah.
And a trend that you're seeing in Pennsylvania, again, good news. Good news
this
here.
This is a huge one.
Is that Republicans are out-registering Democrats by a significant margin. So in the last 5 months.
in large part to Scott Pressler,
Scott Pressler, who we've had on the show.
Hey, Scotty, thank you.
Not the guy who you would expect to potentially be the deal breaker in this election, to potentially be the game changer this election, Scott Pressler. And good for him. Yeah. Honestly, good for him. This is a guy, for those of you who haven't followed him, he's been on the show, kind of started off as on social media influencer, and he said, you know what, I'm going to pivot and do something meaningful, impactful. And he really has, he's made a difference because Democrats, if you look at the new registrations in the last 5 months, about 54,000, Republicans, 124,000.
Wow. Just to give you context, that 80,000 margin of victory.
Yeah, Biden's margin of victory was 80,000 total votes in that 1.3% or 1.2% by which he won.
And this is just the last 5 months. If you look at some of the data from Pennsylvania, he's actually flipping counties to where Republicans are now dominant in specific counties that used to be completely controlled by Democrats by his registration efforts. Huge results in Pennsylvania right now for him.
Well, let's bring this up really quickly so you can visualize this. Let's bring up the live, let's bring up the 270 to win map.
Yeah.
So people can see it. And then we're going to continue on Mug Club, of course, our election live stream coverage, November 5th, 2024. Click that button if you want to be here with us and ensure that no shenanigans take place in the dead of night. Let's bring up 270 to win. There you go. Okay. So let's start. No, it has North Carolina. So let's take Arizona, put it neutral really quickly. Okay. Neutral. Put North Carolina, make that neutral. Okay. Make Michigan and Wisconsin neutral, please.
I know it's only like 1 or 2 electorate votes, but I think we still have Nebraska with their two-tier system.
We do.
Yeah. We still do have the two. They decided they were going to keep it that.
Oh, they did. Okay, my bad.
All right. So right now, and what we're seeing with these RCP averages. Okay, Arizona. You can pretty much give that to Trump, right? Unless barring something crazy happening. Okay. Yeah. So that puts Trump at 246. It's pretty small. Okay. North Carolina, again, if you look at the betting odds, these are the first two that you would put up for Donald Trump, especially now after Hurricane Helene. So put North Carolina on the board for Trump. All right. So what's
262.
262. Okay. So people are saying that Donald Trump needs to win Pennsylvania. No, he doesn't. Right here, he could just win Wisconsin, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, any of those.
Yeah.
To be clear, any of those. And if there's any type of upset in any other state, then he would only need to win Nevada. Think about this for a second. Just look at that. Take a minute. Now, for Harris to win, let's give Harris Nevada, even though it's not a lot. Give her Nevada. Okay. Then let's give her Wisconsin, even though, because that's the one where she's highest in the polls that we've just seen. Okay. Puts her at 242. Okay. Let's give her Michigan. All right. Let's give her Michigan here. Okay. Nah, she's still at 257. She needs all three of those. She needs all three of those, and let's do something else. Let's give her Pennsylvania, but right, if she has Pennsylvania, she barely gets by. But let's assume that she doesn't win one of the Midwestern states, Wisconsin. Let's take the lowest one, Wisconsin. Okay? Where does she make that up?
Yeah, she can't.
Where does she make it up? People might say Georgia, North
Arizona.
Carolina.
I mean, Arizona looked pretty. I mean, they looked like they flipped. They flipped.
It really does
Georgia,
look
maybe?
like, and that's, by the way, where she has Nevada. It's still not enough. She has to get all of them. So really, if we just go with something semi-reasonable here, as far as our presumptions, right? There might be some variances, whether it's North Carolina, Georgia. I don't think so. I'm giving her Nevada. Donald Trump just needs one of the three Midwestern states. Kamala Harris needs all three. Does that put it into context? So when people out there say, oh, it's all lost, doesn't matter anyway, we're not going to vote. I'm not saying this to shine your ass. I'm saying this so that you can have a realistic assessment of where we are. And by the way, things could change. Things could shift. But to act as though this is a guaranteed lost election, it defies reason. And I hear people out there saying that.
Yeah, and I hope that trend is changing, because I understand what happened. You know, like we had like what we thought was a guaranteed win taken away from us with Joe Biden, you know, basically being forced out. And then we saw this huge Kamala bump in the media. We called it. They're absolutely going to have to prop her up. And everybody started going, oh, crap. Then finally, you're starting to see polls turn. Like what we told you was just wait a little bit. This will change significantly. When people start hearing her talk, this bump is going to go away. It's going to close. The race is going to get close again. It's not just getting close, though. It's actually looking way better for Donald Trump than I thought.
Hey, if you're still watching this, I appreciate it. And let's just shoot straight. Obviously, you have a lot of time on your hands. You're not doing anything today. So comment below. It helps with the YouTube algorithms from the overlords. Or just, watch one of these other. If you want to kill some more time, watch this video here. It's going to be very similar. And shoot, I rolled over my headphone cord. It doesn't just click. Is that broken?